For centuries, Nigerian soil has nurtured life, but the fight for food security remains a constant struggle. Drought, poverty, and outdated agricultural methods have choked the land's potential. The main threat stems from changes in temperatures and rainfall patterns that lead to soil degradation. These factors lead to unstable food supply, price increases and persistent economic uncertainties in Nigeria.
There are some factors that cause food insecurity in Nigeria. So one of them is climate change, which is a global issue, and it's affecting food security in Nigeria. Yield per hectare in Nigeria is poor due to so many reasons. Poor quality seed, poor adaptation of agricultural technology from research institute to farmers, the use of modern equipment for farming. We can look at another factor that is affecting, that causing food insecurity in Nigeria is for service losses. We need to invest in research. We need to invest in technology. We need to invest in so many aspects of farming so as to help farmers. We want to look at capacity building and education. Farmers need continuous capacity building. Farmers need continuous education. Those in extension, just as we are, we need to constantly be trained on how to transfer technology from the research institute to the end users.
As you are aware, our population in Nigeria is very high, and we need to find more reliable ways of food production. You have more surety if you can ensure there are opportunities for farmers to grow dry season crops using irrigation. But unfortunately, the area that is irrigable at the moment that is developed in Nigeria is quite low. Although government has done a lot of effort, in the 70s or so there was a lot of development of dams, but somehow the land has not been developed to fully tap the potential of those dams. Recently, the federal government, through a project called Trimming, is trying to develop some of these schemes and make them better utilized. So there are potentials to increase the irrigable land. Government is doing some effort, but a lot more needs to be done if we are to feed ourselves.
For generations, a fragile balance has cast a long shadow over Nigerian agriculture. But in the heart of this land, a new story is taking root. Seeds of hope, born from cutting-edge research, are taking root in Nigerian soil. Drought-resistant and high-yielding, these seeds hold the promise of abundance where scarcity once reigned. New agronomic practices are continuously being propagated by extension workers in rural areas in order to replace outdated farming methods. Brick by brick, infrastructure also rises, bridging the gap between potential and prosperity. Irrigation canals quench thirsty fields, markets provide outlets for precious harvests, and roads and bridges pave the way for progress. This is the story of the Agricultural Transformation Agenda Support Program, ATASP, a multi-pronged approach to rural development. ATASP is designed to ensure attainment of food security, employment generation, and wealth creation in Nigerian rural areas. Dr. Mohammed Arabi is an experienced manager of integrated agricultural development for the past 15 years. Currently the National Program Coordinator of ATASP-1, after a successful previous project, Dr. Arabi believes the multi-pronged approach is the best in transforming lives and landscapes in Nigerian rural areas.
If you are training farmers on how to improve their production and productivity, and their children don't go to school, or they have health issues with their families, like their women, or they need transport, to transport some of their agricultural inputs and maybe products to the farms. So these are factors or sectors you looked at, to develop an all-encompassing, development program. And in this our project of agricultural transformation agenda, we are looking at all these sectors. We develop the communities, social capital. We look at the children, we provide education, infrastructure. We provide water infrastructure, for their health. We provide hospitals, for also to look at their health. And also we provide technologies of agricultural production, And then we provide rural roads so that they can be able to go in and out of the community and to their farms. And also to markets where they are going to, sell their products and buy some of these agricultural inputs.
The ATASP-1 project is jointly sponsored by the African Development Bank and Federal Republic of Nigeria. Still in its first phase, the project targets 4 crop zones in Nigeria. The 4 zones are Sokoto Kebbi Zone, made up of Sokoto and Kebbi states; Bidabadagi Zone, made up of Niger State; Kano Jigawa Zone, made up of Kano and Jigawa states; and Adani Omo Zone, made up of Enugu and Anambra states respectively. 3 crops are selected by ATASP for development in the selected 7 states of the Federation. They are cassava, rice and sorghum. 3 vital crops that are central to food security in Nigeria. Poor yield per hectare remains a prominent drawback in Nigerian agriculture. Nigeria is the leading producer of cassava, a vital supplier of food energy in tropical Africa. But the crop is produced by small stakeholders and is characterized by low yield per hectare, if compared to other cassava farms across the world.
Don't have this ice. If you use it,
ATASP facilitators selected new varieties of cassava for extension to farmers.
So this 1 meter is for tuber, it's not for stem.
New techniques were shown to them on how to increase cassava yields on their farms.
Once you want to cut it, you cut it 75 centimeters.
For the first time, farmers learned new techniques in land clearing, ridging, stem cutting and the application of chemicals after planting.
After the land clearing, we showed them how to do the ridges, because formerly they do their planting of stems on bare ground. We introduced about 3 different types of variety to this community. We have TME 419, we have TMS 3555, we have TMS 3572. We inform them the type of chemicals to use. The production of the cassava tubers was very encouraging compared to what they are doing before. In 1 hectare, they hardly produce 2 to 3 pickups in their previous production. Well, the coming of ATASP-1, in 1 hectare, they will get not less than 10 to 12 pickups.
For years, Nigeria faces the inability to meet rice consumption through local production. A number of constraints prevent rural rice farmers from achieving higher yields on their farms. The main challenges before the arrival of ATASP was farmers depending on rain-fed rice cultivation and the reuse of low-quality seeds. Farmers were also broadcasting seeds on cleared fields as the main form of cultivation. With the construction of dams and tube wells, ATASP ensure rice farmers can cultivate all year round. Zonal facilitators discouraged farmers from broadcasting seeds by showing them the importance of transplanting rice in rows and maintaining the correct spacing to ensure all the rice plants survive. They also showed them the importance of applying compound fertilizer while they are transplanting rice.
ATASP 1 has actually engaged these farmers from 2016 to date. We conducted several technologies, and about 12 technologies were selected, which has been diffused in this particular cluster, and virtually farmers are now adopting all the 12 technologies. Some of the farmers were trained on seed system production in Badegi, NCRI Badegi, and in Biruni Kebbi, and this cluster is currently self-sufficient in seed.
When the farmers stopped broadcasting rice seeds and adopted the new techniques of transplanting and spacing, the yield per hectare increased from 10 to 25 metric tons per hectare.
We brought in 16 different varieties. We tried all the varieties, and all the varieties were very impressive. But we asked them to select the one that they cherished most. And they selected Faro 44, 61, and 60. And incidentally today, they are now adapted to Faro 44 and 61. And when our lead farmer produced that same year, where they used to have about 20-23 bags, our lead farmer was able to bring up 80 plus bags. That is 800 kg. From where they used to get about 23 bags. From that place, ATASP began to get grant. And today, we thank God that most of them, they are into dry season farming.
But ATASP impact extends beyond the farm, weaving a tapestry of social and economic empowerment. To ensure gender parity, the project considered how women form 50% of agricultural labor force in sub-Saharan Africa. ATASP therefore train women in all the zones to benefit from the value chain in rice and sorghum.
At the inception of the program, we came up with some strategies that will facilitate the implementation of the gender aspect of ATASP 1. Some of these strategies are: 1. Sensitization of communities and mobilization of women for active participation in the program. Another one is linking them to sources of credit. Then another one is identification of income generating activities along the various chain of our mandate crops. Another one is participation in decision making process. We also ensure that they participate in trade fairs and agric shows where they showcase their produce. An outstanding success story is the participation of women in processing and product diversification, because we built their capacities a lot in that area. We're able to produce things like confectionaries, that's things like cake, meat pie, chin-chin, even beverages, pop sorghum, and what have you, a lot of things that they now know how to produce. And these are the produce that they showcase at trade fairs and agric shows. They even market these products in their communities. Some of them are now even trainers in their own right. They train people in their communities on how to produce some of these things. As a result of their participation in ATASP 1, lots of testimonies have come out from them. Some of them now said, they are able to pay their children's school fees, they are able to support their husbands, they are able to buy assets like camels, sewing machine, all those kitchen utensils and things like that. Some have even testified that they supported their children and wards for marriage, things like that. And at the end of it all, they said that they are very happy with the program, that they are looking towards to ATASP 2.
Apart from empowering women, the project has intervened in another key aspect of rural life, the provision of health amenities. For the first time in affected communities, people do not have to travel far to find a health center. Healthcare has arrived right at their doorsteps. 14 health centers were built across the targeted 4 zones for the benefit of farmers and their families. In addition to clinics, 28 primary schools were rehabilitated and 108 hand pumps and motorized boreholes were constructed to provide safe drinking water to communities. Each thread in this tapestry is vital. New seeds and stems nurture crops, infrastructure sustains them, knowledge guides their growth, and empowered communities reap the rewards. It is a ripple effect, transforming lives and landscapes in Nigeria.
The problem of agricultural system in Nigeria is that most of our farming communities are in the rural area. The youths are migrating from rural communities into the city. And these are able youths, men and women. The only way you can stop them from this migration is to provide social infrastructure there. They need good health care system for their children. They need school for their children. They need potable water. They need good roads. They need the market for their product. So if these things are not provided, you don't expect them to remain there. But if they are provided and there is good agricultural practices, that is the gap. They are giving good seed, they are giving fertilizers, how to apply them, how to plant, how to space them, and they are getting better yield and they are making better money. These people won't be coming to town. So by so doing, if these things are provided, what do you expect? It will boost the agricultural system. Before the coming of the present administration that came with the food security, even changing the name of the ministry to Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, we have done a lot. It's only in ATASP, it's only ATASP that look at agriculture as a business. Then before now, we look at agriculture as a work for the less privileged, for the aged, for just in fact, as a manual labor. But ATASP is looking at agriculture as a business to create wealth for the people involved, all the stakeholders in agriculture. It is only in ATASP that you can see that all the sectors, from the producers, the processors, fabricators of agricultural processing machines, the off-takers, and so on and so forth, are put up together in what we call IPs, Innovation Platform, to work together in the community so that they can boost the agriculture. So all these things have been placed on ground. So after all other things that are coming, like the Niger Food in Niger, they have to collaborate with ATASP to move forward. So we are into rehabilitation of irrigational schemes and the bringing of tube wells too for irrigation where there is no water bodies, but there are flow plains. So all this we have done, and you know this will equally boost agricultural production. We have gone to some of our fields in Keso. We have the one in Paswa. We have the one in Badeki. All these ones, there are tube wells there. Then when you go to Edozigi, it's an irrigational scheme, which we have about 2,500 hectares that is completely green, even at the dry season.
Both the social and economic infrastructure were designed to create enhanced productivity and then create food security in the zone. In social infrastructure, we constructed 8 boreholes, 8 primary schools, 2 markets, and 1 technology demonstration center. In Adam, where we built the Dina Bridge. Before we built the Dina Bridge, farmers could not have access to people, aggregators, people who are coming in to buy products, because they cannot cross the Dina. The Dina even collapsed. But with the building of the Dina Bridge, farmers can have access to better markets. More people are now coming in to ask them to buy paddy, negotiate with them. There's more contracts, farming going on, because people can now easily access them. More tractors, combined harvesters can now move in. But initially, before now, they barricaded everything because of inability to cross the bridge. Even the traveling time is now saved, and the cost of traveling. Before we used to pay between from Adam to the site between 1,500 to 2,000, but mine just about 500. You can easily move it now. And even people who are also doing businesses, it increased businesses in those areas, because more people can now come in there, now receiving people from far not only the local markets, but they have moved over to outside market, outside that dam. Then on canal line, it may interest you to note that we attempted dry season, even though the canal has not been completed, but we agreed certain, have to eastern zone, western zone, northern zone. So we said let us try dry season at the northern zone. And the essence is to enable us to produce at least twice a year. To produce twice a year, for sure it will improve food security. So the essence of ATASP 1 is to ensure that we produce enough paddy to service the processing centers in Adan. And while we are rehabilitating that pumping station, because that irrigation scheme has about 3,670 hectares. It's one of the biggest in the country. And we want to rehabilitate it so that we can crop twice there. Because if we crop twice in an irrigation scheme that has such large hectares, it will go a long way by improving food security and the country in general. So the pumping station is almost completed, 80%. We are just expecting the Japanese that supply the machines to come for test running. And as soon as we finish the test running, we use to pump water for the dry season.
We are able to build, both in Kano and Jigawa, we are able to build 8 primary schools. We built 4 clinics. We built 4 markets, and we have give potable drinking water. Go into the remotest communities. We build hospitals. There is a case of one village in Zanya, in Kano State, whereby a woman trying to give birth, usually they die on the road because there is no access. More importantly, apart from the birth, all the inhabitants, not even the community we are working, the entire community within that nucleus are using that out. More so, if you go all to other Jigawa state and other communities, the same thing where we build this. There are some places that they don't have schools. Their children don't go to school because in the morning they have to travel far to fetch water for their families, for themselves, to cook, to use. We have built boreholes, overhead tanks, and we give them potable drinking water. So that one enables them to, the land hardship of getting water too is abolished. So they can wake up in the morning, they have water readily available, they use it, and they go to school. And the beauty, we build primary school for them. While before, even if there's primary school, they have to trek a very long distance, whereby if you don't have a bicycle, some of them, because they don't even go to school. But with the ATASP intervention, this has right not home. Then again, we have our markets. We built a community market in some of the places. Before, they don't have where to take their produce. Because one, there is no road. Two, there is no even buyer. They even produce at a low, sometimes like this, when you go out of our market, it's spoiled. So by that, we try, the market we build, we integrated them into clusters, they are bringing their produce. When we come to the main one, that is economic infrastructure, here we are talking about roads, irrigation schemes. So far, we have built roads in Kano State at 35.6 kilometers, ranging from double court surface breast road and Latritic road, double court and Latritic road. And these roads are scattered within the participating communities in the particular local government within the state. In Jigawa, we have built 44.5 kilometer Latritic road. Let me give you an example. Before, we have interviewed some of the farmers who usually, when they harvest, or the marketers, like in that Kano, the area we did that road, they are taking their produce to the market. Before, they sell it at whatever price, because they can't take it to the market. But because of the intervention of that road, they can take their produce to the market at no heat. So they pay them more money. So this road and irrigation is a very good combination. which really has impacted or has been impacted and will continue to impact on the livelihood of the beneficiaries down there. At the end of the day, currently what we are saying, they are self-reliant. Then this issue of irrigation scheme also, we have so far about completing some of the irrigation scheme both in Kano and Jigawa. But in Kano we have completed the Ramambaka irrigation scheme, which is 270 hectares, and is in use now. In Jigawa, we are about finishing the Agufa scheme and also the Sakwa scheme. The beauty of this is we want our farmers to produce year-round, at least 2 times in a year. And it affects rural-urban migration. Before now, before ATASP intervention, I'm not saying all in the state, but in our intervention areas, a time like this, during dry season, you hardly find the youth in that community because they have nothing to do. They go out, they go to Lagos, they go to, and unfortunately, even if they go there, I don't know, they come back with nothing.
The quarry irrigation scheme is one of our best projects as far as we are concerned. Wannan ci gaba ka ai har ya wuce misali mu gare mu, saboda kaga ko bayan ayyukanmu da dabbobinmu da jama'anmu na gehe na waje kowa ya amfani, saboda haka shi wanga aiki ba mu cewa ga iyaka amfani shi gare mu. Dan kaga da ma da guga muka yi, ka taɓa sanin abin da aka ce maguga? To da ma da guga muka yi, sai daga baya kuma Allah ya ba da wasaha, ana riyoji na murtsace, muna sa injin muna ban ruwa da shi na albasa. Shinkafa ma bata shigo mana ba sai daga baya, aiki na rani wanda muka sa shinkafa ta rani. Yanzu gana saboda zakko ATASP mun ha ƙara jaddada abin, yanzu kaga wannan bedin da kaga an yi zakko ATASP muka samu wannan fasaha, dole haka waki muka yi, waki na shinkafa muka yi, sai muka samu wannan bedin, sai zan ya yi muhimmanci goma sha, saboda abin da an muhimmancin shi in ka sa taki kaga wani bai damu da wani ta ƙwara ba ta damu da wani ba, tsakani, amma lokacin da ana waci ta yi suri ba ta daɗin ko da shi ba ta daɗin da shi, kuma sannan ma wacin shinkafa muka yi musu ko da shi san da shi shinkafa ana gama abin da kaka samu kyauta firi da wanda sai ka wahala da kyat yannan ka same shi, sannan kuma diwo da na buɗe wannan nan ruwa ya wani injin zai kawo ɗin, kaga injin ruwa ba zai kawo waɗannan ba, to kaga muhimmanci ya shiga, sai a samu mutum 20 gaba ɗaya sun aza, to ga ko da mutum guda nan kawai shi kenan, ka san muhimmanci ya ƙaru. Abinda muka ce mu ATASP mun yi godiya kwarai 100%, kuma mun gode kwarai 100%, kuma Allah ya saka da alheri, Allah shi ba shi ladar da a ciki, kuma Allah shi ba hana, Allah ya sa ba ku ladar da a ciki, ko mun gode kwarai bisa abin da aka yi mana, karamacin da aka yi mana, ka ko ba wannan aiki da an kai mana, an ba mu shinkafa ta iri, an ba mu dawa ta iri, sannan an koya mana wani aikin gona, an koya mana wanda muka da shan shinkafa duk zuwa zamanin ATASP, sannan an kai mana riyoji na murtsatse na cikin gari, muna kai ruwa shiya, sannan an ka sa muna, an kai mana kasuwa, sannan an kai mana makaranta, duk albarkacin ATASP. Ga gona bai na an yi mana tun daga kwari hannan lahiya limi, babu kura babu wani abu, babu tafiya lokacin ATASP. Kaga wannan abin mun yi goda 100%, ga makaranta an shehida mana, ga asibiti an shehida mana, godiya abin da an nan sai dai a ce alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.
The multi-pronged approach to agricultural development by ATASP 1, Bridge the Gaps in Rural Development. The methodology resonates with global aspirations, proving that food security is not just a dream, but a tangible reality.
And first and foremost, like other developed world, we need to mechanize our system of agriculture. Mechanization means buying equipments, inputs, implements, and whatever, to increase the capacity of farmers on their land, to increase the land that can be sort of utilized to produce more food. Because the more you expand and you have the land, the more food you have, more so if you consider the requirement, the need, the increasing population. Because the more people we get, the more demand for the food. And we have to actually be rest assured that we have our own food. Then we'll talk of surplus, because when you have surplus, then you can now export. And by the grace of Almighty Allah, we have enough land, especially in Niger State here. There's so much land that in short, if we can categorize it or maybe through statistics, we're not even used up to 1/10 of the land we have.
In the fertile fields of Nigeria, a new chapter is unfolding, paving the way to food security. ATASP is cultivating a future where abundance not only grows, but strives. This is not just a story of food security, it is a testament to the human spirit, proving that even in the face of adversity, hope can blossom through planning and dedication. The fight for food security is far from over in Nigeria. But the ATASP story offers a glimpse of a brighter future. With innovation, investment, and community spirit, the seeds of change can blossom into a harvest of abundance and happy communities for generations to come.